This goal question is kind of difficult, but if we follow the instructions, then hopefully it's a little bit better. And I guess this is a good example of like stick to dumb summaries. The dumber we are here, the less likely we are to kind of invent some idea that isn't really in the paragraph, right? The instructions are to introduce the information in the paragraph. So we have to stick to the information in the paragraph. So when I read this, one thing I'm going to do to help me is I'm not going to read the beginning underlined portion because that might change and I don't want to bias myself. So let's just start with de Klerk and de Keyser suspected that the key to something might be the way that the sound waves reflect or break apart when they encounter ridged surfaces. Applying mathematical models derived in part from de Klerk's earlier research would have examined the way sound waves reflect off a stepped pyramid in Chichen Itza in Mexico. They found that the tiered rows of limestone benches in the Epidaurus Theater affect sound waves in an unusual way. The waves encounter the theater's seats. As this happens, sound with frequencies lower than 500 Hz are significantly dampened, while higher frequency sounds are reflected with little diminution. So, what's my dumb summary? I don't know, like the seats reflect sound. I don't know. It's something like that. And I don't understand how. I don't care for the science here. I just like they're talking about the seats. The waves are bouncing around. They use the word reflect a couple times. Like, keep it simple. That's kind of the point of a dumb summary. So now we can go to choice A and say, all right, well, does that kind of hit what we're trying to talk about in considering the primary source of the theater's sonic properties? Well, sonic properties, they're definitely talking about sound. My dumb summary captures that. The source, I guess, is the seats. So it doesn't have anything wrong with it. It seems like it doesn't really say all that much, but neither does our dumb summary. Let's keep going. Let's look at B. Sensing that the ancient Greeks and Romans had admired the theater's design, well, I don't nowhere in this passage or in this paragraph do they talk about what the Greeks and Romans thought. This is modern day scientists researching this. So there's nothing about that. There's nothing about how pretty it looks. It's design in the sense of like it being admired, right? So this is introducing ideas that aren't there. It may be an interesting fact. It may be a nice sentence, but the instructions aren't to introduce a nice sentence. It's to stick to what's in the paragraph, and there's nothing about the Greeks and Romans in this paragraph. Let's look at C. Even though evidence suggests that the Greek builders of the theater did not understand the acoustic principles that account for the quality of sound in the theater, well, again, that may be true. But is the paragraph about the builders? Is it about what they understood? No. We don't have any other talk supporting this idea that the Greeks themselves didn't know what the theater, how it worked. Like, we're not talking about the Greeks. We're talking about the modern guys who are looking at this thing and trying to understand it, right? So I don't care about what the ancients thought. That's not the paragraph. That's not what the paragraph is about. D. Curious about the effects of background noise on the sound quality of an ancient outdoor venue such as the Epidaurus Theater. Well, look at how like D says the same thing as A, but in a just like much more like weirdly specific way. Like we don't background noise. Is that really like what came up here? No. I'm looking for anything but background noise. Sonic properties, sound waves, frequencies. Yeah, like here, this idea is not part of my summary. It's not really mentioned in the paragraph. So this is like way too specific. They're just more general, like what's the properties? We don't need to start naming the properties. It's also not about any ancient outdoor venue. It's about this particular one. So it's not like the Epidaurus is like just some random example that they're choosing. It's the example that they're studying. It's the whole point. Like that's what they're curious about. So this is a good rule that we kind of use a lot on the reading section, right? If we're down to two answer choices and they're kind of similar, we really prefer the one that's more vague, less specific, that says less stuff. And that's just because that's how the SAT operates. Like generally, if we're looking for some sort of summary or something, we don't want to get specific because specific is where we have more chance of being over-specific, introducing some new idea that isn't actually there. And that's the benefit of a dumb summary. It ignores the specifics and sticks to kind of a very surface level understanding. Because as soon as we start diving into the specifics, we're prone to adding our own ideas into the passage. Things that assumptions we make, knowledge that we have on our own, and we don't want to do that. We want to stick to what is there and only what is there. So choice A is more vague, and for that reason, it is a better summary of the ideas in this paragraph.